Hi Scorpio risings. If you are watching this video on my channel, hello, my name is Astro Tarot, and on this channel I do random tarot readings whenever I feel called to do them, and today I felt called to do love readings for the rising signs. So this reading is for people who have Scorpio risings. If you don't have a Scorpio rising, please check out the other reading for your rising sign unless you felt like really drawn to be here. This reading probably won't be for you. So yes, so the way that this is going to work is we're going to be looking at your energy at this time so that you can kind of see whether this actually is your reading, because even if you have a Scorpio rising, it still might not be for you. And then we're going to see your energy in this next phase, if you will, in this next time period that we're looking at, where we're seeing how love is unfolding for you. And then we're going to see what's actually happening for you in terms of love. And if you yeah, so let's just begin. I think that's yes, okay, all I needed to say. So to start, for how you're being represented in general, we have Don Juan. Spotlights your positive seductive qualities. The shadow is using the power of romantic attraction for private agendas. Spirit said let's just stereotype my Scorpios, because this is literally like, this is such a stereotype for Scorpio, the sign of Scorpio in general. So I think that's kind of funny. We also have, for your energy and connections, upcoming, we have the Messiah with the light attribute of serving humanity with humility, and the shadow being exaggerated belief that you are the only means through which a cause can succeed. I find this really interesting because on the back of the deck for this deck, we had the card of God. It says God. So it's funny that we had that, and then we have the Messiah. And then for what's coming up for you in love, we have Lay of the Land, Ancestral Wisdom. We have the 6th chakra, Archangel Metatron. This is the third eye chakra. We have Answer the Call. What is your soul calling you to do? How am I gonna do this? And we have Two Little Witches, Magical Space Clearing Time. So we have a lot of like 3s and 4s, because we have 3, 30, 40, we have 34. Interesting. So let me just organize these cards a little bit better, and then we're going to get into the interpretation of these cards. So let's do it like this. I think this is how I did it in the past readings. So what I'm seeing. All right, so Scorpio risings. So I want to start with this previous energy that we have here, because what I feel like is you're giving me the energy of somebody who is like wanting to settle down, or somebody who finally feels ready to be in a committed connection. I think in the past you were a bit of a player, I'm not gonna lie. You kind of were just like, all right, like, you know, I'm just gonna like mess around, do what I want to do. Like, I don't want to commit right now. I don't want to be in a serious connection. You were just sort of messing around, if you will. And I think part of the reason why, part of it, not all of it, part of it is because there may have been this feeling that nobody was trustworthy, that nobody could trust, like you couldn't trust anyone, nobody could really be there for you in a way that was genuine. And I think you also felt afraid. If you see on this card, their shirts are kind of connected, not their bodies, just their shirts, like they're wearing one shirt. You felt like you didn't want to be tied down to anybody. Like you didn't want to be committed to anybody, because then there's like all these requirements and things that come along with that. And so I think you just sort of, you know, I don't think that you were ever not talking. Well, maybe there were times where you were like completely single, not talking to anybody, but I think there was like, throughout the past couple of years, you probably had little connections, you had little flings, you were dating, you know, that kind of thing. And it was fun, it was exciting, but I don't think that you committed to anybody for real. But I think that's what you're kind of wanting now. But part of me feels like this, for some of you too, this could be about like a greater calling for service that you want to do. Like I kind of have this feeling that you might be wanting to go on some like service trip or some immersion trip. But for others, I almost feel like I feel like you have a pretty big ego when it comes to relationships, where like I said, like you have this feeling that you can't trust anybody, but I also feel like you have this belief that you are better than everybody, that like you are just like for example, don't take this the wrong way, by the way. I'm just kind of describing what I'm feeling and seeing with these cards and stuff. It's almost giving me that feeling of like, um, oh, like I've slept with all these people. Um, so obviously like I'm cool, I'm this, I'm that. Like I've done all this stuff or I've been on all these dates. There's this feeling of like so many people are into me, so many people are attracted to me. Um, so I must be better than everybody else, but no one's good enough for me. That's sort of the feeling that I get here. And I think that this has really inflated your ego in a way that makes it really hard for you to have genuine connections because you sort of feel like no one is good enough, like nobody could live up to your standards. Um, but I think that what you're going to be discovering over this next phase of your life, which honestly I feel like it could be anywhere from like a month to like 3 years. I think you're like finally, or not finally, I think you're learning new things about what connections can be like and how you operate within a connection and the kind of people that you're attracted to and what you actually want. For example, maybe in the past you were really into what people looked like or their status, but maybe in the future and coming up in this next time period, you're going to be thinking about more like, can I connect with this person? Can we talk about our feelings? Do we have the same aspirations? Are we driven by the same values? You're really interested in, can you build something with this person? And I think that your god complex is being diminished a bit. And I don't mean it in the sense of, well, you might have an ego death, but I think it's more so like, and I don't think that you're going to become insecure necessarily. I think it's more so that you're recognizing that there are a lot of people who can meet your standards. But the question then becomes, do you know how to be in a committed relationship? I think that's going to be a big interesting thing for you because you don't want to be so tied to somebody that you lose your identity, but at the same time you do want connection. And so I think you're going to be learning how to strike that balance between you and your future partner. You might be like wanting to get married and like have kids. Like it could be that committed, you know? Because you might have had partners in the past, like dating, like maybe it was exclusive, but you, with your intention, you were just thinking, oh, this is just for fun. Like we're just dating, we're having fun, we like each other, but marriage or anything like super committed was not on your mind at the time. But with this card in the middle here, um, there might be like some sort of pressure from family or from like cultural expectations or religious expectations that you need to live your life a certain way regarding relationships and also families. You might be in a, like maybe you're getting to a certain age, maybe you're 34, where it's like, okay, if you don't have kids, like a lot of people pressure women especially to have children, you know, before 34. But maybe you're getting to this age where it's like, okay, I gotta have my kids now, like, or I have to settle down now, I'm getting old. Old 34 is not old, 40 is not old, 50 is not old, but you know what I mean. um but I think you're really asking yourself, like, okay, yeah, I know that I do want to commit, but what does that look like for me? Because I think deep down, like, you are not somebody to be, like, you'll be in a connection, but not a shallow connection. Because even these connections that I'm seeing, I hope I didn't paint it the wrong way. I don't feel like they're shallow or anything. It seems like they're very committed. However, or they were for fun. They were like flirty and fun, playful. Um, for example, I don't think that you with your old partners, I don't think that you were planning futures together. I don't think you guys were planning to move in together or planning to have children. I think it was very much like, oh, we're into each other, let's go on dates, let's have fun, let's do all the things, but there's no long-term plan here, which is fine. Um, However, there's a question now where you're like, do I want more? And if I do, how do I do that? How, like, what do I look for? What kind of qualities would make a good parent, would make a good partner? Do I have to change, right? And with this card here, magical space clearing time, I think that you are going to have to really do some cleaning up of beliefs that you have around connections, of expectations that you have around connections that don't really serve you anymore. Beliefs that don't really either matter to you as you're growing, like you start to realize that, oh, that trait doesn't matter if they have that or not. But I think more so you're becoming clear on what it is that you do want, which is helping you easily let go of what you don't want. Well, I don't know if it's gonna be easy actually, because it might be like cutting your favorite shirt, for example. Not literally, but you know, metaphorically. Um, Very interesting. Very interesting. I feel like I'm only scratching the surface of this, but But I do feel like there's a very significant connection coming up for you. And I feel like I'm not being told much about this person. But I feel like you are probably going to get married in this lifetime. Not everybody wants that. Not everybody is going to get that. But I think that you really want to get married, or you're going to find that you really want to. And I think that it's almost like, this feels very deep to me. I can't quite explain what it is. This feels like very grown up, but also very like transformative for you. Because I think it's definitely a big shift to go from like this player energy, lighthearted, dating for fun, to being serious about relationships and being like, oh, this is important. Like, I really need to commit, or I really need to learn how to be a parent, or I really need to learn how to be a partner who actually is considerate. I'm not saying you weren't considerate before, or that these weren't serious connections, but there is an extra layer of seriousness that is coming through here. Can we get more information, Spirit, for what's going on here? What's Leo, Scorpio risings regarding love? Can I get more information? Can I get more information? Oh my. Oh gosh, okay, can I get more information, Spirit? What's going on regarding love for Scorpio risings? The Six of Cups. What's going on regarding love? The Emperor, Aries energy. The King of Pentacles. What's going on? If we get the Empress, I'm going to lose my mind, because I'll tell you why. Justice. Let's get two more. Yeah. What else? Spirit, what's coming up next in love for Scorpio risings? Okay. That's two cards. I kind of feel like these are supposed to go together, and I kind of want a third card then. The Queen of Swords and the Six of Wands. I'm gonna get one more, just one more. One more card, Spirit. What's coming up next in love for Scorpio risings? What's coming up next in love? This Eight of Pentacles. Okay, back to the deck, we have the King of Swords. So, okay. With Justice, we have Libra energy. With the Emperor, we have Aries. These are opposite signs. The reason why I said, oh, I'd lose my mind if we get the Empress, is because it would make sense with the 3 and 4. 3 being the Empress, 4 being the Emperor, but it's okay. You have the Emperor, not the Empress. But Libra and Aries are opposite signs. What's your opposite sign? Taurus. Okay, so Six of Cups, Emperor, King of Pentacles, Justice, Queen of Swords, clarified by the Six of Wands, and the Eight of Pentacles. Where should I start here? Yeah, Queen of Swords and the Six of Wands. I think you are not used to really working with another person in such a close manner. I get this feeling that in your past connections, you were the one who was calling the shots. And I don't mean that in the sense of like, I don't know if like you ever were, you know, if you ever cheated, or you were talking to multiple people at once and leading people on. I don't know about all that, you know, because part of me feels like you were in committed relationships. It was just playful. But I wonder if the other person didn't know that. Like, I wonder if you kind of had your own agenda sometimes. Because with this energy here, this is making me think that you had, like, especially if you were very popular or very attractive, people maybe let you just kind of call the shots and do whatever you wanted to do because, like, they just really liked you or they were so happy to be with you. And so you're not really used to looking at yourself and being like, okay, am I treating people right? Or should I change? Should this be different? Because you've gotten a lot of positive reinforcement and validation from people in your life, because you have very powerful, very confident, alluring energy. And I think learning how to be in union with somebody where there's a balance is going to be a bit tricky for you. And it's going to be something that requires effort, like real effort. And that's going to be different for you. And in fact, sometimes it might scare you a bit and make you want to run away, or make you want to maybe withhold attention, affection, in hopes that things will work out and this person will like succumb to your desires. But the truth is that that's not healthy, that's not normal, that's actually very, very toxic to do that. However, with this Eight of Pentacles, I think that if you and your person, and this person, by the way, I think the reason why you even feel called to make changes or work with them is because you see them as like a potential partner. Like you feel like, oh wow, yeah, like this could be like my spouse type of thing. And with this King of Pentacles, I think deep down you are a traditional person. Like I think that you do crave like a simple life, you know, you want to get married, you want to have the kids, etc. Like I think you want that. However, I think that you also, and I think that in some ways you've outgrown that like playful, just goofy energy of like, oh, let's just have fun, whatever. But I think in practice, like in action, when you're actually working with a partner or really having to consider them before you make big decisions and, you know, all the things that come with relationships, it's a lot, I think, for you. And it's going to require some adjustment. It's not impossible. And it's going to lead you toward what you actually have always wanted, which is that very, you know, like to have a very committed life, long-term life partner. However, it's going to require you to definitely unlearn some stuff, because I think you realize that you can get what you want by almost either gaslighting or manipulating, like low-key manipulating. And what I mean by that, and when I say low-key, because it is kind of low-key, kind of like not really obvious, where, you know, maybe using your looks to get what you want, using maybe withholding attention or trying to like reason your way out of something, or like it's depends on so many factors. And I'm not saying that you're just like a manipulative person at all. That's not what I'm saying. But I think you realize that there are ways for you to get what you want, that where you get what you want, but the other person doesn't, but at least you got what you want. Like that's the kind of vibe that I get here, but you're learning that's not necessarily going to work if you want a long-term connection with somebody that's stable and healthy. And I also feel like too, there might be a bit of karma that has to come back around for you to learn this. Like maybe the reason why you realize, oh, I don't want this anymore, is because somebody matches your energy. You're reading the wand to your dawn. I'm just kidding. You're maybe meeting someone that matches your vibes and you're like, whoa, okay. Or maybe it's not that. Maybe it's you find somebody that you really like and then you try playing these games with them or just keeping things really low key or really like lighthearted. And this person's like, nope, I'm not playing that game. Like if you don't commit now, then this is not gonna work. You know, maybe someone is just very serious with what they expect from you, and that's what's making you change a bit. But it's funny, like at first you might have resistance, might be like, no, I don't want this, blah, blah, blah. But I think deep down, this is what you crave. You crave something stable like this. And I think that you are ready for it in terms of like, maybe financially you're ready for it. Maybe like you have the, how do I say? Like, I think that you're stable enough within yourself to really commit to somebody in this way and to have a healthy connection. And why is the Six of Cups here? Memories coming back to haunt you, perhaps. Childhood. Maybe you're meeting somebody who already has kids, perhaps. Why is that Six of Cups here? Can I get a clarifier for that Six of Cups? The Ace of Swords. Okay, maybe this is literally about children. Maybe you're realizing you really want kids. Maybe there's something, oh, okay, interesting. This is not going to be for all of you, of course, and only take this as it resonates, but some of you might, like, randomly get pregnant, like, realize that you're pregnant, you're like, oh, wow, okay, and maybe that's what's requiring you to be, like, more serious and really think, like, is this what I'm ready for? Like, do I want this with this person? That kind of thing. But I also feel like too, there's something about like you having some sort of awareness or clarity around either you wanting to have children or you, something about like your memories and like, how do I say this? Like, I feel like there's, when you were a kid, maybe, like, you really liked the idea of, like, settling down with somebody and, like, living, you know, growing old with someone. But then as you got older, you kind of let go of that, maybe because of conditioning or because of what you see on social media, especially how people talk about relationships nowadays. It's, like, it can be really toxic. But maybe as you're growing up and you're finding your own footing, you're realizing, like, no, actually, this is what I want. And I can and will change as necessary, grow as necessary to welcome this in. Perhaps as well, this is something to do with your parents. Maybe the way you saw your parents growing up, maybe you really wanted a relationship like that, where maybe like you had really loyal parents that were loyal to one another, really cared about one another, or you had adults in your life that were really committed to each other and you wanted something like that. Because this card also talks about like learning from your elders, learning from your ancestors. And with the Six of Cups, this could be talking about your memories as a child, looking up to adults and saying, oh, wow, like I want that type of thing, you know? So that's very interesting. Okay, we're gonna finish off by just getting one final card of like advice for you. So Spirit, what final card for advice do you have for Scorpio risings regarding what's next in love? What final message do you have for Scorpio risings regarding what's next in love? Celestial with boundless. Wow. I'm going to read the booklet on this one. I don't know why I feel like I want to do that. Celestial with boundless. Where are you? Oh no. Oh no. That should have been right there. There, I think it's here. Yeah. Interesting. So we're going to read here. Page 55. 5 is the number of change. Oh yeah, the 5 of Pentacles in the back of the deck too. Okay, so you're out of balance, overly focused on physical and mundane realities, worrying about the future, reviewing the past, preoccupied with everything but the present moment. You've lost perspective and even more so, feel lost, such that simply living has become merely surviving. It's time to remove the shackles and burdens of your troubles and worries, regain a greater perspective, and restore the relationship between your physical self and your higher self. Shed your troubles for a while by standing on the ground and releasing these energies to the Earth Mother. Thank her for receiving and transforming them. Refresh your sense of the immense boundlessness of the universe by gazing at the stars and the limitless celestial realm for a few minutes, taking it all in as you breathe slowly. Let your imagination roam. Let it be boundless. Imagine how these light beings, these star people, are an important part of our ancestral heritage. Ancestral heritage. That's funny because earlier I was like, is this Mars or is that the sun? Probably the sun. But kind of looks like the moon, but orange. Anyway. Make it a point to do this as often as you can to stay in balance and connected to the limitless universe before your eyes. We do come from the stars. That is actually very true. You might want to check out the documentary Our Universe on Netflix. It's really cool, and it talks about how, well, I guess just in general, the creation of the universe is fucking fascinating. And like how the elements were created and evolved. It's just fascinating. Oh my gosh. Like literally the stars are, that's fascinating. But yeah, you need to gain perspective. And interesting. So I guess the final message I'm going to leave with you, and maybe this is something you should journal about, but I guess ask yourself, why do you want a committed relationship, a long-term relationship, a spouse? I talked about this briefly earlier with traditions or cultural expectations or family expectations that make you feel like you're behind, or you have to, you know, get married, have the kids by a certain time period, and that feeling can be catching up with you. So I think it's important to ask yourself, like, why do you want to get married? Why do you want kids? Is it so that you feel accomplished? Is it so that you can check that off the box and maybe gain social points with your family or your church or your whatever the hell? Or is this something you actually want to do? Because this is an important decision, especially having children. And I think you have to gain some perspective on this and ask yourself, do you really want this because you want this? Or is this some other social pressure? And I think you do really want it, but at the same time, you have to discover this for yourself, because there might be layers. Maybe you do really want it, but perhaps the way that like culture, religion, family has influenced you has maybe warped your understanding of it a bit, or maybe warped how you go after this. So ask yourself that question, really get to know that, that desire that you have, and trust that you can have it, because you can. But it's just, and you got to also keep in mind the bigger perspective. Sometimes too, like with long-term relationships, or the idea of it, the idea of having to compromise so often and like work with somebody else, it can feel exhausting when you have Emperor energy, where it's like, oh, I want to do it all myself. Like, why should I have to do something for someone else? Why should I have to, you know, do it someone else's way when my way is perfectly fine? Gain some perspective, and remember, like, in a connection, you are working with someone else, not against them. So consider as well how you want your identity, your independence to be transformed by another person being in your life, and if that's something you want. As I'm saying that too, I noticed this Queen of Swords is not facing this Emperor, and it's making me think, if this, remember how I said there might be a person who just doesn't put up with their bullshit and instead is like very serious with you and is like, no, I'm not going to tolerate this like wishy-washy behavior or this really playful behavior. I need something committed. This person, if you want to hint at who they are, one, they might be an air sign, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, or they could be very successful. And when you meet them, they seem to be in a place in their life where they're just winning. And that could be what draws you to them because you're like, oh, wow, we could be a power couple type of thing. But they don't take bullshit. So not that you're bullshit. That's not what I'm saying. But they want something committed. So do you. But you do have to express that. So yeah, Scorpio risings. Okay, I really liked this reading. Oh, this was nice. I enjoyed this very much. I'm going to be leaving your reading here. Thank you so much for watching this reading all the way through if you did. And if it resonated and you want to support me and my channel in any way, feel free to leave a like on this video, to subscribe to my channel, or to comment down below letting me know how it resonated. I actually really enjoy reading those comments, so please let me know if you feel comfortable doing so. And I hope to see you again here on this channel. I hope that this that you got something from this reading, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye!